So now we know who the Yatagarusu really was. And yet there remains much to this case that needs to be resolved. Like how the weapons cross country lines, for example. The two countries have incredibly strict security systems and entry procedures. Short of a miracle, it's impossible for someone to have smuggled them in. Smuggling them in, huh? Well, we need to open a new line of investigation on this aspect alone. But before we do, I'd like to go through my evidence once more. Unnecessary evidence has been removed. The main evidence has been rearranged. And there's a VCR here. Accuracy was on Detective Bad's the tape Detective Bad gave us. This piece of evidence from the KT-8 incident, hidden from sight for long 10 years. I just know that it's related to the current case somehow. Detective Gumshoe, if you could please play the tape for us. Sure thing, sir. Whoa, it's Manny coaching. He's got one of the black cards, and he also has a knife in his hand. That man, it's Manny Cochin. And he's holding a knife in his hand. This looks like footage from a security camera at the entrance of the apartment building. An apartment building? How do you figure that? Unlike you, I read the summary file on the KT-8 incident. In a crime scene where was the victim's own apartment. So this footage was shot at the entrance to the victim's own apartment building. At the trial, Mr. Faraday claimed that this piece of footage existed. However, no one could find it. Yes, somehow someone was able to steal it and hide it through Mr. Ernest Ohana. I can see how this would have been a decisive piece and why someone would want to hide it. What's a piece of evidence from a 10-year-old case, pal? There's no way to relate it to the current case we're working on now, sir. Actually, I believe it has everything to do with the case we're working on now. The ringleader went so far as to use Mr. Portsman to retrieve it. Which means that in this video lies a very inconvenient bit of footage put to the ringleader. Where? Wait, what was that? Huh? The bit you just played just now. Please show it to me again. This car. This is something we cannot overlook. Why is that, sir? Look here, Detective Gumshoe.
Take that!
It's the national flag of the Principality of Cadofia. It has been the national flag on it. Because it has the national flag on it, we know this is an official government car. But the question we should be asking ourselves is, what was the government car doing there? Oh, how convenient Alba's showing up all of a sudden. So, it could be Alba. It very well could be Alba. Because, like, I don't think Paleno knows anything about the smuggling ring. Which the only other people from Cadofia, the whole country, is this guy. Rickus Alba. And if we had a conspirator on both sides, it would help to like get evidence sent over. Or the weapons transferred over. I didn't actually read that. Ah, Miss Von Karma and Mr. Edwards, so you are here all the time. Ambassador Alba. Thank you very much for continuing the investigation, even at this time of night. If only I was even a tiny bit more careful. This tragedy would never have happened. I am truly sorry. This wasn't your fault, sir. This has nothing to do with how careful you were. You idiot, Quick-Wrist. You couldn't chase after a simple thief. Now then, let's get down to the real reason why I came looking for the two of you. I would like you to put your investigation on hold for a while. Can you do that? Why? Excuse me? I heard you apprehended the thief that turned the embassy upside down. And we are in the middle of an event celebrating our country's reconciliation. You can't exactly have the police and detectives walking around here forever. You were scaring the visitors away. So I hope that you could understand how I feel. Nah, fam. Absolutely not. I don't buy this for a second. You want us out of here so you can tamper with the evidence. But we must finish our investigation and resolve the remaining issues. Why don't you leave the rest of the Bosnian and Balinese police? Ambassador, we're so close. We just need a little more. Miss Von Karma, I'm afraid I've made up my mind. Without my permission, you can't proceed your investigation anyway, right? That's true. However, as he said at the very beginning, this area can be considered to be Albanian soil. In which case, we are nothing but foreigners in their land. This is really where our investigation ends. What? We found Mr. What do you mean you found Mr. Edwards? We haven't moved. Shifu, we found Mr. Edwards, sir. Shifu, this way. Yo! He's still limping from the shot. Agent Lang, you're back on the scene rather quickly. If I'd laid back and took a break, I'd lose the scent of my prey, Mr. Prosecutor. Agent Lang, why have you returned? Because I have to solve this case no matter what. Well, I'm sorry to inform you. And don't take this the wrong way. I don't suspect you personally. However, a member of the Interpol was just found to be a thief. And so... Under these circumstances, I wish to put your investigation on hold. After all, I believe our own police can handle things from here. They are quite capable. At this rate, our investigation really will come to a close. Bastard Alba, I get it now. I really do. Uh-oh, I'm very glad you understand how I feel. No, not that. What I was talking about is... I know who the killer behind tonight's murder is. You... No? The... killer? You mean that, Agent Lang? Heh, wolves don't lie. And who is it? Well, let me first say that I'm not talking about Mr. Cochin's murder. That was all Shina. Didn't she say she didn't kill anybody, though? Langsley says the truth lies not at the exit, but rather shines outside the maze itself. The truth is unexpectedly simple. So let me ask you this. Who do you think was the Master Second's killer? I'll tell you who. It was you, Francis. What? Huh? What? Excuse me? No. Hey, wait. That's impossible. Yeah. Although, the whip is actually quite... Yeah. Hold your tongue in the ludicrous remark you were about to make. Agent Lang, are you seriously accusing her of murder? Yeah, I am. He doesn't appear to be joking. Hey, sis. Remember that just before Ambassador Alba went to give his speech? He called you into his office, right? Yes, he did. But what does that have to do with anything? I'm getting to that. Furthermore, in order to solve both cases, you moved around rather freely between Alabasta and Balba, didn't you not?
Objection!
And where's your evidence that I am the killer?
Knuckle back!
I was just getting to that. Trust me, I'll show them to you in due time. Is this a ploy? Is Lang pulling this out as a ploy to try to get more investigation time? I wonder if that's what he's doing here. I wonder he doesn't actually think it's Francisca, but he's bringing up the possibility just so he can get back into the crime scene. He wants to investigate more, but he can't if we're not allowed. So he has to come up with his story in order to get Alba to let us investigate more. Ambassador Alba, in order for me to bring this case to a close, I need to inspect your office one more time. Will you grant me permission?
With things as they are, I suppose I don't have much of a choice, do I?
Good. Let's move out. Oh, don't even think about running away, sis. My pack will be keeping a close eye on you. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. As if I would have any reason to flee. But just so we're clear, your logic had better be sound. Because I'll accept nothing short of a perfect explanation. She seems rather upset. Not that I blame her. I expect you'd accept no less. But we'll see how long you can keep that nose of yours stuck up in the air like that.
Hold it!
Agent Lang, as someone related to tonight's case, I request that you allow me to take part. And so that I may clean up my superior's mess. I guess I should. The more the merrier, especially when it's the peanut gallery. Edwards is now the peanut gallery. Oh, in that case, I want to join in too. I still haven't seen what it looks like on the Alabasta side yet. If you're that kid, you gotta let me in too, pal. Can't sit around and do nothing when Miss Von Karma's in trouble. Hey, Gummy, let's have a competition to see who can save her first, okay? Okay, I'll take you up on that. Oh yeah, I'm fired up and raring to go. As a detective, I don't believe this is something you're supposed to be excited about. Ha 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 ha! Sounds like this is going to get real interesting. Ambassador Alba, I'll be bringing these kids along for the ride.
Very well. I'd like you to keep in mind that this will be your last chance.
I'll have this whole mess cleaned up before you know it. Now let's go. Okay, now, first, let's go over the facts one more time. Manakochin's body was found over in the Secretariat's office in Babal. A weapon that took his life was one of Alabast's ornamental knives. And then the body of the Master II, Mr. Kashi knew. Cause she knew. She knew, huh? Yeah. I think that's the first time we got their name, their actual name. Was found here in the Alabasta Ambassador's office. Through our investigation, we found a murder weapon with a primitive statue. And that this is actually a Babal's statue. This case, no matter how we look at it, sis, if it wasn't you, then there's no one else who could have pulled this off.
Objection!
Ancient Link, do you understand the full implications of what you're saying?
Of course I do, sis. And I'm serious. You were the one on the trails of smuggling ring, and you wanted any evidence you could find. So while people were distracted by the Yatagarazu's appearance, you snuck in here. And that's when you two ran into each other. You and the other Caesar took advantage of the confusion from the fire.
Objection!
Even if that's all true, how do you explain the movement of the weapons?
Don't worry, I plan to show you that you're the culprit behind that too. You have permission to investigate both embassies at will. With that kind of free reign, you could have easily taken the weapons across country lines. Hey now.
Yes, grab her whip and stop her from whipping people. That's fine by me.
Look, Chris, I always thought I already told you I'm not messing around here. This case isn't directly tied to the smuggling, but it is certainly tied to the smuggling ring.
He is right in saying that she's a member of the smuggling ring. However, the connection between this case and the ring would not be deeper than what any of us can imagine. Let's get this ridiculous circus over with already. Franziska, you need to calm down. Because you only know the facts of the Alabastan side of the case. I don't believe you can see the case as a whole, and therefore solve it. What? But don't worry, I'm taking this seriously as well, and will prove your innocence.
That's the only way to be, Mr. Prosecutor. But can you come up with anything else than top my hypothesis? Of course, your explanation has to solve the mystery of the moving weapons as well.
Of course, and I will. Let us now delve into the truth behind the murder of the Master II. You do understand, don't you, Miles Edgeworth? This isn't just a confrontation against ancient blame. If you can't figure out how the murder of the Master II is related to the smuggling ring, then it will mean the end of our investigation. As long as I have no good counterargument to his hypothesis. The best I can do is walk the thin tightrope and see what I can do.
Come on, Mr. Prosecutor, let's get started.
Yes, let's.
One of the Alabasta knives was used in Babal to murder Mr. Cochin. And the murder weapon in the killing of Master II is Babal primitive statue. Somehow these two objects were able to penetrate two countries' impenetrable security. The only one who traversed two countries just before and after the crimes was you.
Okay. What if this is them the culprit setting it over? Like they threw it, or the rope? Maybe. Would the thin wire be visible? They could have tied the wires to the 2 clocks and sent it across that way, maybe. That could maybe be part of it. Like, this could be the Babal statue going over. Like, you throw it, it gets thrown across. You just walk across. Hey, I don't have anything on me. Walk in, go find where it landed, pick it up. Good to go. So as long as I can't explain how the weapons moved about, Francisca will remain a suspect.
You got it, Mr. Prosecutor. So why don't you stop giving me a hard time? Under these circumstances, who the heck can carry a weapon across the county to his eyes? Worked hard through every possibility, but there's only one that's plausible. Your boss.
Agent Lang, what I've learned from you just now is that you've lost sight of yourself.
What are you talking about?
By focusing too intently on what is in front of us, we become blind to the truth. Don't tell me that Lang Z never said anything to that effect.
You prosecutor? Who do you think you're speaking to about Lang Z's proverbs like that?
I don't need his proverbs. Because my words are all you will need to see the truth.
Hold it!
Was Francisco really the only person to have traversed both between the two countries?
According to the guards at both doors, she's the only one to go back and forth. This was there in Alabama when you got to Gardasu show. Just before you guys found Mr. Cochin's body, she entered Babao. I think we can assume that she brought the knife into Babao.
Objection!
Then how do you explain the primitive statue?
I haven't quite figured that out yet. Or the fact that the 2 weapons crossed the border. Who's that the killer must have also traveled across the country's lines.
The only things to cross the border are the primitive statue and the knife. I probably think those are the only 2 items, Agent Lang. Okay, so something else moved. Wait, the statues got switched. So that would mean both statues had to have moved. Was there anything else that moved as well?
Hold it!
I concur that this knife crossed country lines.
Good, now that's not the only thing to do. Must forget about the other weapon. The knife was the only. Must forget about the knife was the only one. And the murder weapon.
Hold it!
So you're saying that the primitive statue was also brought over by Francisca.
Like I told you before, that's the only way it makes sense.
Hold it!
And how exactly did she bring it over?
I haven't figured that out yet.
That's a rather weak statement considering how sure you are.
Maybe. But there's one thing I do know for sure.
Hold it!
Impenetrable. I should hardly think so.
Not so fast!
You've seen a top wall between the 2 countries, right? Who'd have wanted to cross over that?
Ah, I think this is where we can post the picture now. Yeah, and I can climb over that thing with all the barbed wire.
The only way into either embassy is through the doors of the Citrus Neutralis. The only way the knife and the primitive statue to traverse into 2 countries. Is through those security camera equipped, well-guarded doors.
Objection! Not so fast!
Or am I I missing here? Wait. That's why they're relevant. That's why they're relevant. You see those sticks holding those flowers up? I don't know if that's relevant at the moment.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
I did that. At least I'm pretty sure I did. Okay, apparently I didn't present either of these on this team.
Objection!
I thought for sure I presented them, both of them. Agent Lang, those two items are not the only two to cross the border tonight. Oh? The Master Second was killed with Babal Primadux statue, yes? But if that's the case, then tell me, where did the Alabas Primadux statue go? To Babal. Precisely. And if those two statues really were switched, then that means both statues were smuggled across the border at some point. Which means a total of 3 items were smuggled across the embassies.
I guess so. But you know what? Doesn't matter the number of items that... Oh, that sis is the only one who could have done it. Because the only person I went back and forth between Alabas and Babal is her.
Is that really true? Was there no one else who traveled between the two countries? Actually, it was definitely another person. One who paid a visit to both sides of the wall.
Objection!
Is that really so, Agent Lang?
Ha ha ha. What a lousy time to try and bluff your way out of this. I checked out what the guard said, along with security camera's footage. You're not going to overturn my hypothesis, that is.
Objection!
I suppose there was some other way other than through the theater doors.
What other way?
The other entity that managed to cross the border unharmed. If I pointed out, it would open a whole new possibility. As long as this entity exists, the impossible road becomes a possibility.
It looks like you've got some clever idea in mind.
I do, and I can throw it to you through a single piece of evidence.
Fine then. Let's see this piece of evidence and show me the other route.
This piece of evidence will show the other way to move between the two countries. Okay, now we can get to this photograph.
Take that!
Agent Lang, I'm sure you're familiar with this unforgettable photo.
That supernatural photo? Like I said before. Humans can't fly.
No, of course not. I understand that perfectly well.
No, start claiming that Shinnok grew wings either.
I wouldn't dream of claiming that.
I won't allow you to take back what you've said either. I'll say it again. It's not humanly possible to fly through the air. We're not saying it's a human that flew. So you better have a good explanation for this, Mr. Prosecutor.
How can I prove it? How can I prove who it was that flew through the air in this photo? Wait, not humanly possible. Humanly possible. Objectively possible. Eureka. Very well. You will have your explanation.
It's like we got a good idea shimmering inside that head of yours. Let's hear it. The face hidden by the photos, blurry shadows, trailers.
Take that!
Are you kidding me? It's the other statue. Either statue should have worked, game. Either statue should have worked. Naturally, the shadow is the third smuggled object, the primitive statue replica.
You can't be serious.
The Yatagasu, or rather, Kasturu Yu, dressed as Agent Shina, was inside her bow. She dressed the replica up in clothes and launched it through the air.
Not so fast!
Ha! Mr. Prosecutor! You left out a very crucial bit of your explanation.
I know I did.
She launched it through the air? Ha! And how exactly did she do that?
He's literally burying his fangs in it. But he has a point. How exactly did it move through the air like that? As long as this remains unsolved, we won't be able to move any closer to the truth. Which reminds me, didn't he say this earlier? Right before he called her into his office. Right before the murder, Francisca was called right into this very room. If that's the case, then it may be another avenue I can pursue. Agent Lang, in order for me to answer that question, we need to hear testimony from Miss Von Karma.
Oh? What are you up to now, pretty boy?
Earlier, you mentioned something of interest to me. You said that just before the murder occurred, Miss Von Karma had been in this very room because Ambassador Alba has called for her. And for that reason alone, you believe her to be the killer.
Yeah, I guess I did say that like that.
Wouldn't that place Alba at the scene too? In that case, I believe it's my duty to ask her what her side of the story is.
Ha! Do you really think a criminal would tell us the honest truth? How dare you? As I said numerous times, there's absolutely no proof that I am the killer. Miles Edwards, don't tell me you suspect me too.
I don't. However, I can't ignore the fact that you were in this room at one point in time. Which is why I would like to hear about it from you. Francisca, I feel that I still don't have enough information. Which is why your testimony is incredibly important to the outcome of this case.
All right. So what would you like me to talk about?
I'd like you to please testify about your movements up until you came into this room.
All right, let's try this your way for a change. What she says if what she has to say turns out to be a waste of time, I'll place her under arrest faster than you can howl no.
As you wish.
As I said earlier, I was assigned to guard duty in the Alabastian Embassy. After I saw the Steel Samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office, I returned to the Rose Garden for a bit to check up on the security situation. After all the preparations were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Alba to his office.
Francisca, I want us to make this clear from the beginning. So what I wish to confirm is that the only time span in which you were in this office was before the murder occurred, correct?
Yes, of course.
I see. For now, the only way I can see for us to break out of this situation is to ask Francisca about her testimony in more detail.
Hold it!
So you were at the theater as well?
Yes, I suppose you were also there as well, watching that stage show.
Well, yes. So Francisca was there.
Well, after the show was over, I saw the Steel Samurai off.
Hold it!
Why did you need to confirm the degree of preparation for even the speech?
For security's sake, of course. As a reason, what could I have? No one knew just how the Yatagasu had planned on getting in, right?
Yes, I suppose you're right.
And in the end, the Yatagasu did choose to appear in the Rose Garden.
even if it did turn out to be nothing more than a shadow. Ugh, who would have thought that she would use a shadow? Calm down, Francisca. She must still be nursing a grudge over the fact that she couldn't figure it out herself. Anyway, there was no one in the rose garden. We were aware of the speech. That speech was set to start soon after.
Hold it!
At the time, the Master Second's body had yet to be found in this room, correct? That's right. Ambassador Alba was here. You know what? One could hardly miss his rather large presence.
Come on, say anything, get out of being arrested. How do I know you're not lying?
Well, if you need proof, I'd be happy to oblige you.
Seriously?
Like I keep telling you. When I arrived at his office, Ambassador Alba was already here. He was standing by the flower box on the windowsill, watering his plants. I can attest to that. I remember speaking with some lovely lady around that time here in my office.
Alright then. Add that statement to your testimony. Let's hear some details.
So Ambassador Alba was in his room at the time, was he? Doesn't say anything about being wet.
Hold it!
For the sake of being thorough, I'd like to ask you something. How did you know that the Ambassador Alba was watering his plants at the windowsill? What do you mean by that? The entrance to this room is on one side, however the window is on the opposite side. If what you say is true, then you entered the room when you entered the room, his body would have been like a wall. It would have been blocking your view of what he was doing. Is that not correct? I suppose it was a bit hard to see around him. But fortunately for me, Ambassador Alba is not an immovable wall. I knocked before I entered, and as I did, he turned around to greet me, with a watering can in his hand. So it's only natural for me to believe he was watering his plants, right? I suppose. After his greeting, we spent a little time talking about his flowers. He had obtained them himself and is growing them with the utmost care, you know. Yes. The plants in this room they're all like my children. The passion flower in the flower box on the windowsill are growing beautifully too. All 4 of them are in full bloom. 4? Miss Carmen, what did you just say now? I said the flowers are growing beautifully. What about that statement do you not understand? What do I not understand? I do not understand why a certain thing is the way it is. Like for you to amend your testimony statement with... I'd like for you to append your statement to your testimony. Very well.
Objection!
Francisca. For some odd reason, your testimony contradicts with this piece of evidence. It does appear that way.
Ha! I knew it. I knew we couldn't trust your words, sis.
Mr. Edwards. What are you doing to discredit Miss Von Karma like this?
Yeah, sir. Keep this up, she's gonna get taken away, sir.
All I've done is state what I saw. I've not made a single mistake in my testimony. And for this, I'm still under suspicion of murder. Is the number for us really all that important at this juncture, Miles? Well, given that you said 4 and there's 2 sitting there, I believe that's kind of important, Francisca. At the very least, it's a contradiction in the enigmatic case. One that I find hard to dismiss as irrelevant.
Ha! Let's hear it, Mr. Prosecutor. What does an arm of flowers have to do with anything? What does it prove?
The answer to that will become clear if we were to examine the flower box. How did this contradiction come about? There must be something behind this discrepancy. They're my beloved flowers. I've grown them with the utmost care. We ask that you please be gentle with them as you examine them, Mr. Edwards. I understand. These are compassion flowers. By being called flowers, they're actually a species of vine. They appear to be growing well, and are well supported by these plant supporters.
Yeah, but no matter how long I look at it, it looks like there are only two here to me. Your eyes don't, you sis? Your little lie has failed you.
Hurry up and shut this bit up for me already. Suppose I'll need some evidence to shut him up. I believe I have just the piece of evidence you require.
Huh? You do you? Because I confident that facing your current plight. I had a doubt it'll last until the end.
You howl like a wolf, Agent Lang. We'll see if you have any bite to back up your bark after you see the evidence. The truth of the passion flowers can be revealed in seeing this piece of evidence.
Take that!
Shinna, who supposedly in Babal the entire time, had these hair sticks on her that look exactly like the plant supporters in this flower box. In other words, I believe it can be said that these hair sticks are in actuality support sticks for the passion flowers.
Heh. And so what? Is really all that important to the case?
Of course it is. It means that we found yet another item that was smuggled between the countries tonight. Think about it logically, Agent Lang. These sticks were originally in all of us. But somehow they wound up in Shinna's hands, who was in Babal the whole night. So make no mistake, these sticks were smuggled somehow, just like the knife and statue.
Very well then. I want to hear from you exactly how you wound up in Babal. They wound up in Babal.
How did these support sticks find their way to Babal, and why? There must be some reason as to why they ended up there. Ah, so that's why. Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this and tell me its shape.
Just not a stick, isn't it?
So it is, but the shape of the support sticks is what's important. When they are used with something in this room, that's when it all comes together. How does it picture when used with the support sticks? Were they shot across?
Eureka!
That's a crossbow. Wait, you're not suggesting...
I am. These hair sticks, or rather, plant support sticks. They make for perfect arrows. I've done it. I found a common thread that connects the two offices. This thread has yet to be completely untangled. Even using the arrows, how does this explain how the statues were transferred? Furthermore, who could have been the fire these sticks as arrows? Must be a common thread that ties all of these things together.
Not so fast!
Mr. Prosecutor, hold up a sec. You do realize what happens when you tie a statue to an arrow, right? They don't fly at all.